Hello there everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I am going to talk about the BBC announced obviously that Doctor Who will be back on our screens at Christmas 2026, obviously with a special episode written by Russell T Davies, with Disney Plus confirming they will not be partnering on the next season of the science fiction show. The BBC remains fully committed to the show and will announce plans for the next series in due course to ensure the Doctor's adventures continue. But the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, Doctor Who is not dead, because obviously now we just need to wait an entire year for this special to release obviously. And there have been a couple of fans, couple of leaks, couple of rumors that starting to go around, and obviously people are not quite sure if these are real or not. So there we go. First of all, I want to address the elephant in the room. The photos, the pictures that were released online or leaked online with obviously Billie Piper and obviously Paul McGann. These are fake. These are AI. And I mean, they kind of look real. But the thing is, there have been a couple of different shots of them, different perspectives of them. And people just know that these are not real, because they look real, and obviously there are a couple of things that prove they're not real. They were made by a Google AI program, which is kind of annoying for us fans, because we are very thrilled for this brand new last episode obviously of the season. So there we go. We also have this one. This is AI slop. Obviously this was made under 3 minutes, and obviously you can see Donna Noble and 14th Doctor and 11th Doctor. Yeah, these look also very real, but if you look closer, you can see that some things don't quite match up. Like obviously some visual I don't know, mistakes. So there we go. These are just fake. I wanted to point that out, but there we go. We also have this brand new, I guess, person, Andrew Morris, who says an acquaintance of mine worked on this Doctor Who project and confirms filming took place at Camber Sands, I think, that day. Paul McGann performed in his Guardians of the Edge costume, and the TARDIS was present. Ever professional, my acquaintance refused to spill the beans any further, even when I offered to get the next round in. Obviously, is this something that we should take a notice of? Paul McGann is the one that most of the people have been, talking about, if he will return for his brand new Christmas special. I mean, it would be really cool, right, for him to return, obviously featuring Billie Piper. I think that's a really interesting pairing, obviously. But obviously this person can just be lying, or this can be for something else, like obviously a Big Finish audio adventure where Paul McGann does some promotional material for. So that's also quite possible. But obviously there are also leaks and rumors, obviously thanks to the one and only Andrew. Andrew was most popularly known as the person who commented on the Confused Adipose YouTube channel, where he spilled everything. He said, okay, this and this is going to happen in season 2. Obviously Susan will appear, or Susan will return, Billie Piper will regenerate, or Ncuti Gatwa will regenerate into Billie Piper. Obviously we weren't quite sure if this was real, obviously in the Doctor Who fandom, in the Whovian verse, right? And obviously the YouTuber Confused Adipose was also not quite sure if this person was legit, but it looks like it is, obviously. And this person was quite right, obviously. So there we go. Let's talk about his possible, I guess, leak or rumor. So take this with a grain of salt. Obviously this could be real, this could be fake, right? It was shared on the r/Gallifrey subreddit. Obviously Andrew returns this Xmas 2026, spoilers possibly. So let's read it. Andrew, the person who leaked all of season 2's details correctly, has supposedly returned with info on the Xmas special. I say obviously supposedly, as there have been a few imitators pretending to be him since then too. So adjust your skepticism level as required. Obviously Andrew could be someone who works on this specific season or this episode, or I don't know, could be like a mole, right? He could be working for the BBC or working for Doctor Who. So I'm not quite sure. We should really just take a notice of him, and maybe he will obviously share something new in a couple of months or a couple of weeks, right? So there we go. All right, he says the episode is basically a Marvel what if type story. What if we made the last Doctor Who episode ever, but time will be rewound at the end back to regeneration, and depending on the situation, by Christmas next year we either get the real next Doctor or something more open-ended. Carol Anford will have a bigger role in the episode, just not the one she was originally planned to have. While the broad strokes of the script are in place, the details are in flux, no pun intended, because that's a Doctor Who series, as they're basically trying to pull in all of their favors in terms of who they can get appear in it. They're hoping for everyone bar Eccleston and Capaldi, but until they can get firm commitment, it's more of a case of generic Doctor and generic companion appear at this point on in the story. Shooting is planned for February/March, and it should be closer to 90 minutes than 60 minutes. So, okay, an hour and a half. I think that could be really cool for the last ever possible episode for Russell T Davies. This might be one of his biggest yet. Obviously, I have a few pictures of this leak, one which is not really that clear, and this one which is this vertical one. They're kind of the same, right? Kind of also shared by Comprehensive Hyena 10. So yeah, one is from 4 days ago, one is from 8 days ago, so by the time you're watching this video, probably longer, right? But this is obviously from the official subreddit from Gallifrey, Doctor Who News and Discussions, obviously. So there we go. Is this quite possibly real? Possibly, but obviously we're not just quite sure, right? Because anything is quite possible. Obviously in Doctor Who, like, no one would have expected that Billie Piper would return as the 16th Doctor in Doctor Who, but yet here she is. So there we go. Obviously this reminds me a bit of Bart's birthday, which is obviously titled on screen as the Simpsons series finale, as the 36th season premiere of the American animated television series The Simpsons, and the 769th episode overall. 6-9. Nice. It's better than 6-7, man. Those kids nowadays, they don't even know what 6-9 is. Don't look it up. Anyway, it aired in the United States on Fox on September the 29th, 2024. The episode was written by Jessica Conrad and directed by Rob Oliver. Anyway, so synopsis, right? In this episode celebrates an presentation of the series finale of The Simpsons, in which Bart believes something is changing in his world. The idea for the episode came as a response to people asking executive producer Matt Selman when and how the series would end. Obviously, John Cena, Danny DeVito, Tom Hanks, Joel McHale, the GOAT! Hey, Joel McHale, let's go! Conan O'Brien, Mark Proksch, I think, Seth Rogen and Amy Sedaris guest starred. The episode received positive reviews. So there you go. Obviously this was, theoretically the last ever obviously Simpsons episode. Obviously it's not, because the thing here is Bart's birthday, right? Bart never ages in the series, I suppose. And this is kind of like the same thing here with Doctor Who. What if there was a last ever Doctor Who episode, and how was that able to, how is that able to come on our screens, right, for next year? Obviously, Bad Wolf set up a new company on November the 13th, right? It's called Bad Wolf Ltd. I think the timing of the creation of this company is right for it to be for the Doctor Who 2026 Christmas special. The name doesn't necessarily correspond to the title, but the L Doctor, the L something like The Last Doctor or The Lost Doctor. Could also be for something else. Obviously, Bad Wolf also makes other series, so yeah, I think that could be really interesting. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. Obviously, Russell T Davies has tried doing that with the next Doctor. Obviously, that was a Christmas special from almost 10-15 years ago or something. So there we go, the Last Doctor or the Lost Doctor or the Lonely Doctor, maybe. That's possible. Company number is 168531109. I'm not quite sure about this one. Obviously, this is kind of dimensions in time, right? Obviously, maybe they'll get Sir Ian as the Rownie's companion this time. So there we go. And please don't tell me we're getting an EastEnders crossover as well, says some of these comments. I think it's Dimensions in Time is a really, really screwed up special. That was, I guess, during the wilderness years when Doctor Who was off the air, right? I believe so, right? So there we go. and obviously that was a crossover with EastEnders. But now the series is quite big to do something like that. I don't think quite necessary that it will be a crossover with another series, but obviously, like they're saying, obviously they're trying to pull some strings here and trying to make sure that whoever is possible for this brand new Christmas special will be appearing in it. But obviously, if that would not be the case, it's just generic Doctor and generic companion as obviously a normal story, which would be kind of disappointing, right? I think Billie Piper, she is, well, first of all, she was the companion of the 14th Doctor, or I guess the 10th Doctor, depends, like David Tennant's Doctor, right? So there we go. And now she's returned, right? Obviously, there have been things going on behind the scenes that we were quite sure of, right? But they just want to hush about it. But the thing is, obviously, things kind of change, right? So Billie Piper now is the Doctor. Rusty Davies needs to work with that for his story, right? Obviously, who is going to appear in this, Christmas special, this last episode ever, quite supposedly, theoretically? First of all, I think obviously David Tennant is a must, right? You have Billie Piper, you have David Tennant. She's probably going to wonder, why is she the Doctor? I think this is quite confirmed, obviously. I think, people just know that this will happen. If this won't happen, that will be a big surprise. But you have Billie Piper as a Doctor and 14th Doctor from, obviously, the the 60th anniversary Christmas specials, I guess, from 2 years ago. Yeah, you need to have him in there, right? I think that works out. Obviously, people have been theorizing about Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor. I would love to see that. Oh boy, I would love to see that. That would be an interesting trio, right? Obviously, the 16th Doctor, the 14th Doctor, and obviously the 8th Doctor. But obviously, the thing is, I really want to see Ncuti Gatwa return. Maybe the face of Daleks. I just really want to see Ncuti just, battling some Daleks. I think that would be really, really interesting. If they do it right, they can have every single loose thread from the series, from Ncuti's run and from the 60th anniversary run. They can actually try to solve this, right? Obviously, Susan Foreman will be in this episode as well. Carolyn Ford, obviously, as the granddaughter of the Doctor. So, obviously, that's quite possible, right? So, obviously, Carolyn Ford, maybe Billie Piper, David Tennant, obviously, these three characters, pretty much, right? Paul McGann, maybe. I would love to see him. Ncuti Gatwa, maybe. But obviously, I would love to see. They have plenty of, I guess, possibilities to do, right? You can have David Bradley back as the first Doctor. You have the actor who played the second Doctor in Once Upon a Time. Obviously, the behind-the-scenes documentary thingy that they did for I think the 60th anniversary or the 50th anniversary. I think it was during the Twice Upon a Time shooting that they also made some documentary things about it. But anyway, so there we go. You have a second Doctor that is quite possible to join, but I'm not quite sure about that. It's a bit of an odd choice. You have a third Doctor, but obviously the thing is, John Pertwee is dead, and his son, I think Sean Pertwee, right, played in Gotham as Alfred, right, and he looks like his dad. So would he be able to, do his dad, I guess, in like a third Doctor role? I'm not quite sure. If you were up for it, I think that would be quite, quite cool, quite amazing. But I'm not quite sure. I think the second and the third Doctor are most likely not to appear. Obviously, the fourth Doctor, 12th Doctor, and the 9th Doctor will not appear. Obviously, the 4th Doctor, Tom Baker, will never do these things. I mean, he's old, right? But I just think his Doctor is just, a Doctor that just, does his things his own way, right? So obviously Tom Baker, if he doesn't really want to return, that's quite alright. Just, don't use the 4th Doctor. He was also not in the 5 Doctors, he just didn't really like that. So there we go, fair enough. The 5th Doctor, played by Pete Davison, yeah, I think he could return as one of the Edge Doctors, right? Together with, obviously, Sylvester McCoy and Colin Baker, right? So there we go. Now we have, Paul McGann. There we go. 9th Doctor, Christopher Eccleston, like I said, he won't return. Then the 10th Doctor, David Tennant, will most likely return. The 11th Doctor, quite surprised, Matt Smith, has already said that he wants to return to Doctor Who, so maybe he'll return in some way, somehow, some way, right? 12th Doctor won't appear, Peter Capaldi, my favourite Doctor, will not appear. sadly. But you know, that guy is just busy with music and his tour, I guess. And yes, I quite understand it. So there we go. 13th Doctor. Yes, I think she will return. I think Jodie Whittaker is most likely to appear in this Christmas special. I think that would be absolutely amazing. Obviously, 14th Doctor, and then we're up to the 15th Doctor. So doctors, obviously the 14th Doctor is kind of like one of those special doctors, those one-offs doctors, right? Obviously, we also have the War Doctor. The War Doctor is John Hurt, and John Hurt sadly passed away, so I'm not quite sure if he will return. Possibly not, right? But obviously the Fugitive Doctor, played by Joe Martin, I think she might be up for it. Yeah, I think so too. Obviously, she is one of the doctors that we haven't seen that that a lot, right? But I would love to see her. I'm a big fan. I think she deserves her own series, like Division series, right? Where she just does missions, right? This can be like a 6-part story or whatever. But I would love to see her return in this brand new Christmas special as well. Okay, now I'm going to sum up some doctors that won't probably appear in the special or the Christmas special, but because they're canonically real, I suppose I will count them. So there we go. We have Richard T. Grant as the Shaka Doctor. I'm not quite sure if Richard T. Grant will appear as the Shaka Doctor, but hey, it's fun to theorize, and I'm not quite sure. I mean, he's canon, right? He's canon as one of the incarnations of the Doctor, so you know what, guys, you can you can give him a study, right? You can make him do something. I'm not quite sure, but the Shaka Doctor, man, I just really need to see that episode still. So maybe I'll watch it at some point. Maybe if there is a demand for it, I'll watch it. But I'm actually really, really hyped. Richard D. Grant is a great actor, so there we go. I mean, hell, you could even give the Curse of the Fatal Death Doctors a role in this special Christmas special, right? Imagine Rowan Atkinson as the Doctor. Okay, no, I'm spitballing here, but anyway, I don't think they will appear, but Richard T. Grant, it's a quite small, very, very small possibility, obviously. But obviously, just need to wait and see, right? So, okay, who do I see in this Christmas special? Billy Piper as the 16th Doctor, or Rose Tyler, or Bad Wolf, whatever. You have 14th Doctor as 10th Doctor, 14th Doctor as David Tennant. Paul McGann, possibly. Jodie Whittaker, maybe, well, yes. Obviously, we have Ncuti Gatwa, yeah. Carolyn Ford, yeah, for sure. Who else? The Edge Doctors, obviously the older ones. They also return for, obviously, Tales of the TARDIS. So yeah, I think that they would be able to do that. I think the first Doctor, played by obviously David Bradley, would be amazing with Susan. Obviously, would be a very, very interesting pairing, right? And yeah, I just think that this Christmas special will be obviously the last for Russell T Davies, and after that we can have Pete McTighe, the showrunner and the writer for the War Between, obviously, as the new showrunner. Maybe, I'm not quite sure. They also really want to see if the showrunner or the writer for Adolescence can do something Doctor Who-ish. So they're just trying to get the works done for like the next series, which I'm quite hyped for. I can't really wait for the brand new series. Just obviously we just need to wait for this Christmas special, and to to see where Russell T Davies will take us in his marvelous little imagination, right? So alright, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Obviously, let me know down in the comment section below what you thought of it. Obviously, let me know your ideas or meanings or thoughts about this brand new Christmas special, these Doctors and this adventure. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, then obviously this will be it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I will then say goodbye. Alright, everybody. See you later. Allons-y.